Lovely. Good evening, Zambia. Good evening, Africa, and warm welcome to the Analysis program right here on KBN TV from Zambia's capital city, Lusaka. With me, Innocent Piri, as your host this evening on the 17th of May in the year 2026. We have quite a number of stories that have been lined up for you out there. Remember, we are found on our three platforms. That's GoTV channel 27 and also DSTV channel 279, Topside Decoder channel 102. The program is also live via social media platforms. That's our on X and Facebook page on KBN TV. Let me unveil the team that I have in the studio. Of course, I've got Mike Sichula, the man who was basically born or blessed to analyze speeches. Is here. Comrade Mike, welcome and good evening to you.
Thank you very much, IP, and good evening to our dear viewers. And it's good to have you back. I got a lot of calls and inboxes. People, where is IP? And it being a defection period, I'm sure people are thinking IP has defected somewhere, but it's good to have you back.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. PK, welcome and good evening to you.
Good evening, IP, and good evening to our dear viewers. I share the sentiments of Mike Sichula. It's good to have you back. I tried to wear your shoes. They were too big for me.
Separation of powers.
Yes.
Right, interesting. And of course, my good comrade, guru in the media, Comrade Chiobe, welcome. And I'm so excited to be having a conversation with you this evening. I missed you last week, comrade, but I enjoyed your submission. Welcome.
Thank you very much, IP, and most importantly, I share the sentiments of my two comrades here. And I'm glad to have you around and share the platform with you for the first time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, to you, the viewers out there, remember that we are here together to see how best we can sharpen our country's democracy, but through this conversation we're having right here on KBN TV, I'm around and I'm alive. The only man who has died, I should make mention to you, is Archbishop Telesphore Moses. Rest in peace, after leaving that huge legacy in the country, Telesphore Mpundu is gone. We give a reflection on that. Let's begin from there, Mike Sichula. How do you remember the big man, Telesphore Mpundu?
Well, it's a very sad story that we have lost the man of stature of Bishop Telesphore Mpundu at this critical time where Zambians are looking for alternative voices of reason in terms of governance, in terms of spiritual health. So it's something that I received his passing with a sad state of affairs, because I remember when I was covering him during his time when he was the president of the chairperson or the president of the ZCCB, and we could go to Kapingira House. Sometimes we receive his statements. So it's something that I used to appreciate and like the way he used to comment on governance issues. He was fearless. I remember one quotation that was he was covered by the then Post newspapers when I think there was some kind of beef between the administration of President Levi Mwanawasa. Then he said that more or less like the president was more or less like threatening him or something, warning him to be quiet. But he was quoted in the Post to having said, I laughed, something like that. He made joke of it, even if it was a serious matter coming from the administration. So he's a man who was brave, and a lot of people that want to follow the pattern of governance, you can learn something from his legacy, because he would not shy away from speaking for the voiceless.
Correct. Let's just have a quick snippet of some of the speeches, or rather the advocacy or activism of the late Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu. Then later on, we invite PK and also Comrade Chiobe to just dive into that. Let's have this video of Telesphore Mpundu.
Go there on the mercy of HH He does not listen to people. One of the leaders in the UPND came and challenged me. And he said, you know, you are writing, you are speaking, and whatever. Why don't you call him?
Yes.
Call him, and you can tell him what you want to tell him, instead of the papers there and so on and so forth. I said, to begin with, your man does not listen to anybody. I would be very, very surprised if he listens to you. He is a one-man dictator. Some of the dictators at least are in a group, but he listens to nobody. When we went to State House, after so many times of trying, we arrived there, and then we were treated to a lecture. It was a lecture. Coming out, someone asked me, how did the meeting go? Very nice.
So you were
Very
invited to a meeting you've been pushing because you've seen so many wrong things. And you've had an opportunity now to see the president and then deliver your views and probably hold a dialogue. Instead, it became a lecture.
It was a lecture. He had all kinds of people that he sent to monitor what was going to be said. And then when we went there, everything was being said and the answers were being given without our participation. That is it. That man does not listen. Recently again, another young man came. But you see, why don't you call him? I'm not going to call him to lecture me. Yeah. No, not at all. I want someone who is open to the Republic of Zambia and people who would like to participate in the ruling of this.
May his souls rest in peace once again. PK, your quick reflection on the big man.
Well, a big tree has fallen, a voice of reason, a major beacon of hope and light for our nation. Clearly, you can see there's a transition in generations. Yeah. You know, that generation of bishops, that generation of leaders is fast fading away. Yeah. There is a huge need for some other people to begin to emerge and arise, but I'm not too sure if they would fit the stature of the late Archbishop Telesfo Mpundu, a man of conscience, forthright man. When UPND was in opposition, he campaigned with them. He campaigned against the Patriotic Front.
Correct.
Vigorously so. And when UPND won, you will recall, he went to State House and conducted mass and prayed for the head of state, President Hichilema, at State House. But a year later plus, when he thought what they had agreed as the mode of governance, when UPND comes into government, when he felt that there seemed to have been a little bit of a departure, he began to speak against the UPND administration. So you see, morality, objectivity has nothing to do with loyalty. You have to have the interest of the nation at heart. And that's what this, son of the soil, respected man of God, that's what he demonstrated. That even if I campaigned with you, when you begin to veer off what you had promised that this is what you deliver to the Zambian people, I'm not with you. And he has died, most definitely not
as a fighter.
As a fighter, not campaigning for you with the UPND, but standing with the ordinary Zambian people.
Interesting. As you come in, Comrade Jobe, I wanted to look at it from a different angle. When you look at the voice and the void left by, I don't know if there's a void anyway, when you look at the legacy left by Telesfo Mpundu and the presence of the church today, the voice of the church, how would you distinguish? Would you say the country has lost someone that really meant well, or would you say that gap has already been closed up by other bishops you'd want to mention today, and other men of the collar?
Well, comrade, when you talk about Archbishop Telesford George Mpundu, the late, obviously, for me, who shared a very deep personal relationship with
Correct.
him, it's a sad day. It actually, for me, wasn't his death that was a sad. It was the constant fear, because I think as far back as 2024, I had a deep conversation with him. And he made it very clear that his life was coming to an end. Okay? So for the last 2 years, I've lived in a constant fear of when this day will be confirmed.
I see.
Okay? But look, your life speaks for itself. Okay? PK has made some very interesting observation which I'll adopt, and the fact of the matter is that morality doesn't bend. Okay? You cannot swing with the wind or the direction of the flow if you stand for the moral uprightness. And that is the life of Telesford was about. Okay. I remember when in my last conversations with him, I asked him, look, you fought, I used the word bluntly on him. You fought Mwanawasa. You fought Chiluba. You fought Arabi.
Correct.
Even your own Michael Sata, you fought him. You fought Edgar Lungu. What is it that you are trying to, what type of a man are you that you can fight everyone and sees everything wrong with it? His answer was very simple. He says, look, the will of God has been the same for the last 2,000 years. And the very moment you see a departure from what God designed for humanity, as a custodian of God's moral wisdom, you have to stand for that. And he was in defense of that. And he reminded me something that was very interesting, to say that, look, we have not been fighting government. You might remember, I think if you remember, the church was very instrumental in the HIPIC initiative.
Correct.
Remember the Bishop Telesford himself, Bishop Dion, you remember Bishop Mazombwe, they were very strong. So what you have to realize is that the church has been consistent.
Right.
Okay. Is the church consistent now? I don't think so. Okay.
Right.
Our churches in Zambia right now are in a crisis. Okay. Why? Because the politicians have taken over the church. And the church has lacked the capacity to defend itself against the invasion of the politicians. And that's why today you can have these priests, these pastors aligning themselves with different political parties. It becomes very difficult for people to seek that conscious leadership that comes from the men and women in cloth. So we've got a void, as a matter of fact, and if an institution like the church is unable to defend its people, then it becomes imperative that the people defend themselves. So when we reflect on the life of, he used to call himself the boy from Kapatu. He came from Kapatu.
Yes.
Yeah. He used to say, I'm just a boy from Kapatu. Okay. So when you reflect on his life, I think what is important is that there comes a time when you have to count the cost. As you count the cost, we remember that he lived a life for the principle and the belief that he lived for. So for me, that is my reflection on it. It's a very difficult subject for me.
Wow. We are heading towards the elections, gentlemen. And now, the death of Archbishop Telesford Mpundu, I know that there is also the current Lusaka Archbishop, in Dr. Alik Banda, who will probably be more like the overseer and the man who's going to preside over maybe this funeral or this procession and stuff like that. So seemingly, Bishop Banda, seemingly, I'm using the word carefully, seemingly, is not in good terms with the government of the day. Seemingly, again, please understand that word. Now, how interesting is it going to be to see Alik Banda and maybe the government officials, or maybe it could be HH himself, sitting closer to Bishop Alik Banda, How is that going to look like? Do we expect that that maybe is going to be done in a very peaceful manner? Or maybe that would be another way or platform of reconciling between the government of Zambia and Bishop Alik Banda, if at all there are some differences based on what is being alleged. Comrade Mike, less than a minute.
Yeah, I think in the African context, traditionally, during the time of funeral, people, whether you are you oppose each other, it's a time to come together to provide and offer respective send-off to the deceased. So I expect the Zambian government, whoever will be represented there, if it will be President Hakainde Hichilema, I don't expect that the two are going to be on different paths. They'll probably sit on the same bench,
Right.
and also speak.
Pretend?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
But it is something that they're going to do traditionally, and also from the Christian point of view. A time of bereavement is a time of to show unity, whether you have got different views against each other.
Right.
It's a time that you bury those views and just pretend that you are in good books, and also offer the best wishes to the family and the church of the Catholic Church. But it is also a good opportunity to resolve some of the issues that you may have. Because I believe if the president is going to go there, he will probably go with the Secretary General of the UPND and other senior government officials. And also when Bishop Alik Banda will be there, he will not be alone there. He will be with the leadership of the ZCCB and other wings within the Catholic Church. So it could be an opportunity afterwards to resolve some of the issues that are there. Because one of the issues that is there is which the Catholic Church has complained, is the issue where the Archbishop of Lusaka was called a Lucifer by the Secretary General, and there was a pronouncement by former information minister that the church, the government was going to meet the Catholic Church to resolve that issue. But we have not been told whether they have resolved it privately, if or not. But if it has not been resolved, I believe with the 5 years of the UPND coming to an end in August, it could be an opportunity to close that chapter, at least by forgiving each other, by resolving that issue. Because if it remains unresolved, it will be like it will be against the scripture, because the scripture tells us to say, if you have offended your brother, you should not go to sleep knowing that you have offended your brother. You need to go to your brother and apologize. So it offers, this funeral offers that opportunity.
Right. Let's get into, of course, we'll give a reflection about the performance of our National Assembly, which just dissolved last week. As you know, that the elections are up now. I think within this week the campaigns will commence. Now, the National Assembly passed over 70 bills, quite unprecedented in the history of Zambia. But I'll hear from my analyst in the studio whether this was okay or not, and what could have gone wrong. But the major aspect for me, together with you, the viewers out there, let's ensure that we give a reflection. How's been the performance of our National Assembly, our parliamentarians in the last 5 years, the presiding officers, the Nelly Mut and the team? How did they perform? Did they meet your expectations? That's the biggest question I have for you out there. PK, your quick reflection, and also the passage of over 70 bills which were actually voted into.
Let me start with the bills before I come to the performance. There has been an uproar, an outcry from across the country by many stakeholders, from the civil society, from the church, even though the voices of the church, as we have heard already, is a bit compromised and questionable. There's been an uproar from opposition and political leaders just about why, in God's name, you would want to force over 70 bills on the life of a parliament that is coming to an end in 10 days. Now, you realize that most people, when they look at this, they would say it was very intentional. Because if I ask you today, of the 70 bills, tell me what were the critical issues that were being changed in those bills, because remember
There was no time to scrutinize.
there was no time
each
to
and every
scrutinize.
bill. Yeah.
scrutinize.
Right.
So by the time you come to realize what they have passed, it will be
It's
after
gone.
the fact.
Wow.
The law has already been passed, and that was very intentional, so that there is no time to engage and I
Consult
haven't
each other.
read some of those bills.
Correct.
So I can't even comment, authoritatively.
Yeah.
And the reason I haven't read it was also impossible to read those bills. Even the members of parliament, if you ask me, I don't think they read.
Including the presiding officers, if possible.
Yes. So because when they are reading, this bill is up for second reading, the question is they'll give you a summary of the bill, not the substance of what they want to
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
So a few things have been tucked in there which we will discover very late in the day that there's very little that we can do about it. It was very intentional because remember Bill 7? Bill 7 was passed on the last day when Parliament was going to adjourn. They forced it second reading, third reading, and it was done. That was the last day. I remember it was the 15th of December.
Yes. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, very intentionally, so that that thing could pass, and the MPs themselves were under duress. They were under pressure. Let's pass now. If they were under pressure to pass one Bill 7, what more passing over 70 bills? It speaks to the fact that the performance now of Parliament, as we have known it traditionally, has been lost, because this is the National Assembly that has been very partisan in the manner it has been managed. I do not remember any member of the ruling party, an MP, who was ever sent out of Parliament in the last 5 years.
None.
But tell me, how many opposition MPs were sent out, suspended, and so on and so forth? Countless. Okay? This is the Parliament where people conveniently crossed the floor knowing that I've got the blessings of the first speaker, second speaker, substantive speaker, and everyone else who cares or who doesn't care about democracy. This is the only Parliament that never spoke for the people. They spoke for their pockets. They made laws that suit the executive. Because look, who moves the motions to change laws? It's the executive.
Yeah.
But I never saw anyone from the ruling party, apart from that gentleman, is it Kauta or something? Kasauta. There is one particular time that he is a member of the ruling party, but he stood up and said, if this is what this bill is all about, then I will not vote for it. But obviously later on, he voted for it after they spoke, to him. So the performance of this Parliament has been shambolic, very disappointing, very partisan, not with the people. For the first time, you have a speaker, and many people have said she is the first female speaker. We were supposed to be writing history to say such a brilliant performance. Unfortunately, we'll be writing very bad history about her performance. Partisan, she never even cared about the decorum. She would dance on the floor of the House after passing Bill 7 and so on and so forth. So, in my view...
Has she left a bad dent on the women folk?
She has left...
Being the first female speaker of Zambia?
She has left a very bad taste a bitter taste in the mouth of everyone, and a huge disappointment and bad representative of the women folk.
Wow. Comrade Chiobe, your take over that, your quick reflection, first of all, on this over the 70 bills that were passed according to PK. Did we have members of parliament, did we have the National Assembly whose role was not to make laws, but to pass laws?
Look, I'll pick it up from where PK left it. I think for me, to start discussing the performance of Parliament, we have to start with the Speaker herself. Okay? Yes. In history, we will write Nelly Muti as the first female Speaker of the National Assembly of Zambia. But we will also repeat that she's the worst Speaker in the history of the National Assembly of Zambia. Specifically coming to the laws. Remember, the the fulcrum of our democracy has been the separation of powers,
Correct.
the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. The moment that two of these institutions go into a collusion, it robs away the very essence and dignity of democracy. And that is what we saw in Nelly Muti. When the National Assembly of Zambia, initially, the first time it rejected attempts around pushing Bill 7, the government withheld to resuscitate the life of Bill 7 and eventually pass it. The government had to use Nelly Muti. You remember Nelly Muti going to meet people in chiefs around.
She went for consultation?
No.
Bill 7 consultation.
Now, when did in your life see the speaker participate in an agenda of
A referee?
A referee.
I've never seen that.
You've never seen that.
No.
And this is where Nelly Muti is leaving us. And unfortunately, with the position that she had, she's a bad example. I hope if the UPND, if the UPND were to win the August election, should seriously reflect in continuing with Nelly Muti as Speaker of the National Assembly. If at all they have any care for posterity and the ability of them to survive when they will be out of power. Because remember, nothing stays forever. Even if the UPND won the August election, eventually they will have to pave way. The curtains will have to come down. Okay?
Correct.
Then secondly, Parliament is very important an institution, and that is why you find that all the records, all the deliberations in Parliament are recorded.
Correct.
Because it's very fundamental to our democracy. I don't know how the Hansard
It's looking
is
like
looking like for Nelly Muti. I started to imagine. Because if you look, the Hansard becomes a very important lesson for literature, and for understanding the history, and just to understand where the country is coming from. In my time, some of the things I've read so much are the Hansard of Nabuliato.
Correct.
Okay? The Hansard of Nirenda. I don't know how the Hansard of Nelly Muti will look like. Okay. Then also you realize that the legislative authority of Parliament is well documented.
Right.
There is a procedure how laws are made. Okay. We understand that our members of Parliament are not experts at some of the laws they make, and that is why they've got that committee where there's someone expert to come and deliberate to say, okay, this law, if you are trying to push it in this direction, they will guide, so that eventually when a law is formulated, it is reflective of the desires of society. So if you are going to make 70 laws in 10 days, for me that is fraud. It's fraud. Okay, and that is why you look at the UPND has been very transactional in this formulation of laws. Today they will make a law against public will. I'll give an example of Bill 7. Okay, everyone said this thing is poisonous. Don't go with it. They pushed it arrogantly and used some underhand methods to get the law enacted against very positive and good behavior. 3 months later, they came back through the Attorney General, and what they told us, they want to change this constitution again. So why did you push it against public will, and then 3 months later you want to change it? What? You know, because what you see with the UPND right now are men and women who want to commit illegalities, but to commit those illegalities, they have to legislate them as law. Right. So this is where we are right now. The fact that they made those 77 laws, which even themselves don't understand. Okay. So they are trying to insulate themselves from scrutiny by the very people that they pretend to lead. Wow. So for me, when I look at where we are with these 70 laws, it's essentially a form of legislating fraud by the people who are governing in order to suppress those that they are governing.
Wow. I'll put all of you gentlemen on the spot as we conclude on this topic. Peradventure, or if, for example, by lucky, if the UPND were to come back or to bounce back into power, would you want Nelly Muti to be reappointed or re-voted as Speaker of National Assembly? Mike Hichilema. Yes or no? Without explaining. Then we'll move on.
No, it will be difficult for me to answer that one.
Oh, okay.
Because, let me, sorry to run away from your...
Yeah.
your
If you ask me, I'll give you a yes or no, and then I'll move on.
Well, okay, I wanted to say it differently.
Okay.
Because it depends on the... If Madam Nelly Muti has achieved what the UPND wanted, then it will be a yes.
No. Remove the UPND. I'm talking about from the citizenry.
From my point of view...
Has she managed to save... she met the expectations of the many Zambians? Would you love, as a citizen, as a patriotic Zambian, to have Nelly Muti back as the Speaker of our National Assembly?
No.
Thank you. PK?
If I was speaking as a citizen...
Yes. I wanted to speak as a citizen.
I would say no.
Okay.
Allow me to finish this thought.
Finish.
However, my thoughts are that she is part of a long-term strategy.
Wow.
The Attorney General has made a pronouncement that we will overhaul the Constitution. Where does the Constitution overhaul happens? Is in Parliament. Who is a user-friendly speaker? It is Nelly Muti. So, if you are speaking as UPND, Nelly Muti is the best candidate. If I speak as a citizen, she's a bad speaker and she shouldn't be allowed to come back.
Wow. Comrades?
Well, when I look at Madam Nelly Muti, I think at this point of our lives, she's a perfect example, or she's a best illustration of how somebody should never conduct themselves as Speaker of the National Assembly. So she's very useful to teach the children, to teach society that we should never have a speaker who behaves like
this.
I rest my case.
You're a politician.
but what is your answer?
Well, Nelly Muti is a disaster. She should. She's only useful as a teaching aid of how not to behave as a speaker. But if you are a society that is serious about your progress, if you are a society that is seriously pursuing justice, if you are a society that is seriously pursuing goodwill and the ability to realize democracy to its maximum fruition, Nelly Muti should never be anywhere near legislative authority.
And IP, to speak to what Chiwoyu has said, I know some people might feel very uncomfortable, and you see, Nelly Muti occupied a very sensitive office, and she's not insulated from public scrutiny.
Correct.
And what we are saying here is by no means to demean her or to defame her.
Correct.
It is to say that office has a decorum, and it was demonstrated by Matibini, Amusa Mwanamwamba, Navuliato, and all of these. There is a standard. She has failed to fit in that standard, and we are not demeaning her. We are saying we need to hold you to the standard and decorum of that office.
And put her where she belongs.
Yes.
Let's move on. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Of course, the viewers out there can give us your expectations and your answers regarding all these topics that are being discussed right here. Now, let's get into what is trending right now. I think in the last 1 week has been quite dramatic politically, as we have seen that a lot of political alliances have been formed, and a lot of endorsements here and there, as we expected that this period of time is going to be quite interesting. Now, we'll talk about the Makebi Zulu and Brian Mundubile, who have gone into a political marriage. Of course, after so many talks and advice coming from some members of public, and of course, we hear also the church also got involved to ensure that Makebi and the Brian Mundubile, they are brought together. But the general call has been that the opposition, they should come together and put up a formidable fight to face President Dentaintion and the UPND. So we'll have some highlights of Brian Mundubile and Makebi on a day when they were actually shaking hands.
We therefore demand that President Hichilema immediately addresses the nation and explain in clear terms to the Zambian people why he has allowed the desecration of his late brother's body in this manner. In light of what has happened, the UPND government must also dismiss with clarity there's strong and widespread concerns that this entire matter is linked to spiritual or ritual practice. Distinguished colleagues, allow me at this moment to turn to the church. The church cannot be silent. Not now. Not on this matter. Especially that the late president was a man of faith who openly believed in Jesus Christ. To remain quiet in the face of this is to abandon that very foundation he tried to help build for the nation. We also turn to our traditional leaders, who are the custodians of our customs and our heritage. You will all agree with me, fellow citizens, that our known traditions as Zambians do not permit what has happened in South Africa. And certainly our culture does not accept this.
The conversations that we've had with the clergy, with the chiefs, with everybody that we've talked to, has been that we only have one Zambia, and there can only be one person at a time. We have been told, why shy a buffalo before you kill it? It doesn't make sense. Of course, we've had our ways and differences, but do they matter more than what the country has to hold? No. We have said it time and again that we want to unite, and we hope to unite. And that unity is for purposes of saving Zambia. The last 5 years have been nothing but 5 years of lies, 5 years of mismanagement of the economy, 5 years of rampant corruption, and 5 years of broken promises, 5 years of abuse of human rights, 5 years where the rule of law has turned to a rule by man. No principles in the Constitution or indeed other laws have been respected in the last 5 years. And just these 2 days, we have seen how that 77 bills have passed into law. What was the urgency? What was the urgency? We have heard and seen a constitution being amended, not for the people, but for political expedience. Should we continue with that? No. The answer is certainly no. And the answer being no, it calls for people who are resolute to change the trajectory that this country has to.
Today we decided that the issue of unity is an emergency in this country. We could have decided to do this on Saturday because something big is coming on Saturday. But when we looked at what was happening at Parliament, oppressive laws being passed, when we saw what was happening at Parliament, people who are not supposed to be sitting in Parliament, people who vacated their seats in Parliament, were still sitting in Parliament and passing laws. We have looked at mingalatos around the electoral process bill, where now the UPND can craft a bill targeted at a political party or targeted at an individual. I made a call to my brother the other day. I said, we cannot wait any longer. Ichalo chaonaika. We cannot sit any longer. We need to come quickly and unite so that we begin to confront the many challenges that our people are facing. So today, we want to say to the Zambian people, Honorable Makebi Zulu and Mundubile Brian and PF Pamosi and Tonse Alliance have decided to come together.
Thank you so much. Those are just some of the highlights that, of course, we thought of showing you. I'll start with Chobe there. Your quick take, your quick submission analysis. What is that to analyze from Makebi Zulu and Brian Mundubile coming together now? Oh, what should we unpack?
my submission is that I do not think that the decision by Makebi Zulu and Brian Mundubile to come together is essentially their desire. I think there is a genuine demand from the public that there should be a stronger alternative view to what we are getting right now from the UPND. Okay, so there's been a vacuum in terms of a united opposition because remember Zambia for the last from let me just say from the time we reverted to democracy in 1991, the country's democracy has been maturing, and it has matured to in the last 10 years to a point where we've always had an alternative government. Okay, I mean an alternative leadership to what we are getting right now. You realize that there's been a very sustained attack on the opposition the last 4.5 years. Okay, there's been a serious attempt by the ruling party to use all institutional governance to destabilize the opposition. To a very large extent, they have succeeded. Okay,
They have succeeded.
they have succeeded, and that is why the opposition is in disarray. But to address your question, for me right now, what is required, okay, if democracy has to thrive, if democracy has to be protected, there has to be an opposition. You might not be a supporter of the opposition, you might be a supporter of UPND, but for UPND to sustain in this democratic ecosystem,
They need a stronger competitor.
they need a stronger competitor.
Right.
So when I look at Mundubile and Makebi to come together, my view is that I would want this organization on the opposition to go beyond these two people, because there's still a lot of fragments within the opposition that can add value if they form the bloc. You've got Harry Kalaba. Okay, I don't think Harry Kalaba need to sit on the fringes. Okay, you've got I have a lot of problems with Mao Samba, but let's face it, he occupies some space in the opposition.
Political space, correct.
So what is important right now is for the country to see a sustained opposition unity, okay, which is based on giving people the alternative to what we are getting from the UPND. And also what makes this opposition interesting is that when you look at the Patriotic Front, despite its severe disturbances by the ruling party, its base has an identity. Okay, its base has an identity. Okay, the PF, you may like it or not like it, but it still has that bedrock. Okay, and this gives an opportunity for these other guys to ride on it in order to form an alternative to the UPND. I know they might not like to hear somebody talking about the PF, and my submission on the PF is not like I support the PF, but I just feel that it gives the PF platform provides the best opportunity for the opposition to unite.
Right. Interesting. Pike, your take.
My take is, first of all, picking up, I think Chiwoyo has said a number of very interesting points there. I won't belabor, but to say that there has been an attempt to completely obliterate, annihilate, silence, get rid of the opposition come 2026. Two particular parties that have been target of that scheme is the PF. For one simple reason, it has been the biggest opposition.
Correct.
And the hope was that by scattering, they would attempt to scatter the voters. But as Chiwoyo said, the support base of the PF still strongly remain intact, which is a plus to democracy, because what this incidence has demonstrated that the democracy and definition how we have known it has changed. We look at Chiwoyo, Mike Sichula as the opposition leaders, and they are the opposition. But what we have been presented with now, the opposition is not a person or a political figure. The opposition is the people, the mass, to the extent that even if you try to block the PF,
correct,
even in the last week of voting, whether you block Makebi or you block Brian Mundubile, the people will find where to gather and go and decide on
their anger.
based on how they want to decide. That's point number one. Point number two, the other opposition target has been the FDD. For one simple reason, the FDD has been one of the most recognizable party under late Christon Tembo, under Edith Nawakwi, and they consistently participated nearly in every election. What that does is it has an imprint on the minds of the voters that if there is no PF, my best alternative would be FDD. I doubt that FDD and PF will be on the ballot. I highly doubt. But while this may be the reality, but I do not think that it takes away the threat of whichever way people want to vote, because the opposition has shifted from looking at an individual to this mass momentum. Coming to my last submission, coming to Honorable Brian Mundubile and Honorable Makebi Zulu, it is a good thing that they have decided to come together. But I also wish to take this opportunity to speak broadly to the opposition, that there has to be some level of sincerity even in their coming together. Because if sincerity is missing, there will be another change that will blow and they will no longer be together. Because why was it difficult for Honorable Makebi Zulu to be together with the Honorable Mundubile and Honorable Chifumubanda? We see only that now Honorable Mundubile has changed from FDD and Chifumubanda maybe is not in the equation. Then we see a marriage of convenience. I haven't seen, for instance, Kingdom Chifumubanda present from the time that this switch was made.
Pronounced.
I haven't seen him present with them. So that already begins to speak to deep-seated and deep-rooted issues that we need to address. And these are issues of genuineness. I would like to see that this union we are seeing between Mundubile and Makebi Zulu should continue, but must also extend to where is Chifumubanda. Let him still be visible among them. The very fact that there's been a switch from FDD to this other new party does not mean I must divorce you or our relationship must be on the rocks. You are working as opposition regardless of an outfit. People congregated under FDD. Why should it be difficult for them to congregate under this new unity or under what is this Resolute?
I don't know.
Resolute Party for Makebi.
Yes. So that's all I am saying. And clearly speaking, I would like to believe in the last push towards this election, all of these political parties are going to work together one way or the other, not because they want to. They'll be forced to work together.
Right.
That's my prediction. That is my prophecy.
That's your prediction and prophecy at the same time.
They may not want to work together, but they're going to be forced.
Nature
will force them to work together.
Right. Mike Sichula,
well,
what is your prophecy?
Well, I think last week on this platform I did speak to the fact that it's most likely that Mr. Mundubile may not present as the certificate of adoption under the FDD. I spoke to this last week. So on the aspect of Mundubile coming together with Makebi Zulu, this has been the call by many Zambians to say, can you come and work together? But where we're coming from, the happenings of the PF is not their full desire that it should happen this way. And the aspect of these political parties, these politicians sticking around and going to form alliances, it has somewhat may upheld the vision or the foundation of the PF. On the other hand, PF, I mean, you have Brand Mundubile, who is a PF member. He went to Tonse, meaning the people that believe in PF, they also could have gone to him, with him under Tonse. Then other people who were with PF, they went with Makebi, with his RP party. Now, them coming back together, it is just the issue of PF people coming together under the one umbrella this time. So they have tried by all means to ensure that the PF does not die. Yes, the PF has been exterminated somewhere, but they have held on to the vision and the supporters so that they can still believe in them by forming other splinter groups to say we are still representing the PF, because they know that the grassroots is there in terms of the structures of the PF. It's there. So it's intact. It's what matters is whether someone is going to be selected amongst them to say, okay, all you, our supporters across Zambia, let's rally behind this person. This is how I look at it in terms of how they have been in terms of people saying we want you to be united. The issue is why they could not come together at some point. They thought that the court process of the PF is not going to take longer than it has taken, so they were trying to hold on. But now it looks that we have less than 90 days before the general election, that there's no real hope that the PF is going to come back in its original state, because a number of people have moved out. So these people that we have, like the Brand Mundubile, Makebi Zulu, they have believed in the PF and they have held on and they have stuck to it. Because other people, like we have seen, who are in the PF, they have said, no, we can no longer be in the PF because the PF is disorganized. They have called it disorganized. They have joined the UPND. Then secondly, when I don't expect Brand Mundubile to be with Hichilema because of politics of the region. When you look at Mr. Kalava, who is the opposition leader for the Citizens First, he comes from the northern block or Apura province. The same with Brand Mundubile. So in terms of these two coming together, if you are going to say who is going to be the president and the running mate, you are going to have two people coming from one region, and this is not what not what Zambians want. Zambians want to have a pattern like what we have in the UPND, where we have the president from Southern Province, the vice president from the Northern Wapura block. You have that kind of the system. The same system in terms of region cannot even happen in the UPND. You cannot have the president who is Southern, then you also have the running mate from Southern. So this is why I'm saying Mundubile may not work with Brani Hichilema. But Mr. Mundubile can...
What about other positions? I mean, why should it be about presidency?
No.
There are other positions. But also remember that Kalava, Brand Mundubile, the Makebi Zulu, all those people are coming from the same family, which is the Patriotic Front family. So let's not forget that. Let's establish the roots.
Yes, the roots, like I've said in my area statement, to say the roots, in order for them to maintain the existence of the PF, they have split to form these smaller parties. You have the Citizens First, because the leader there is a former PF member that have established.
But I think you would be unfair to lump him as when this PF has been disintegrating. Kalava was not part of it.
Oh, yeah, he was not.
He left when PF was in power, so it would be very unfair to lump him in that basket.
All right, thank you for that. Thank you for that intervention. But I thank you for that intervention. So when you look at Brand Mundubile and Makebi Zulu, this partnership can work because Brand Mundubile is coming from the northern Wapura block. Then Mr. Makebi Zulu is coming from the eastern block. So that partnership can work. If someone is the presidential running mate, then you are going to have two regions, running mate and president not coming from the same region. But again, of these people that I've spoken about, Harikalava,
Yeah.
Makebi Zulu, Brian Mundubile, the most experienced in terms of presidential contending for presidential elections is Harikalava. He's the most experienced because he has been on the ballot and he came third in the latest election. So he's the most experienced in this point. But again, can they come together? That is the point.
Right.
So if they cannot come together because of the regional issues that I've spoken about, you are saying that they can come together maybe to be a member of parliament. Look, Brian Mundubile has been a member of parliament before. The same with Harikalava. The same with Makebi Zulu.
Yeah.
So they have all these presidential ambitions to elevate to a higher position, which is that of the president. That's how I look at this whole issue.
Right.
For me, maybe not to take away the
So,
heat.
hold on, Chiobe, I'm coming back to you. Let's hear from quickly.
I still think outside of all this regional talk, people can come together if it is national interest at heart.
Correct.
And I've got examples here. Hive Mdudu was a presidential contender in 2021.
21, yes.
Yeah.
And after he lost, he said, I am going to work with the UPND. He put down his political ambitions. He's not even a member of parliament.
No, he's not.
But he's working with
He's
it.
got one member. He has the one member of parliament.
Yes.
Correct.
You have Garin Kombo. Garin Kombo was chucked out of a ministerial position. He never defected.
Yeah.
He has still remained a loyal member of
The UPND.
the UPND. The one thing that the PF, and it's not even a northern thing, it's the PF. One thing that they need to realize that Zambia is bigger than the party. And not all of them can become presidents at the same time.
Yeah.
It is possible for Brian Mundubile to lay down his ambitions. It is possible for Makebi Zulu to lay down his ambitions. It is possible for any one of them to lay down their ambitions and say, for the sake of the nation, we will rally behind Mike Sichula. It is possible.
Yeah, correct. Very true.
Yeah. And my addition again, it becomes incumbent upon the leadership of the opposition to be able to explain these political optics that evolve around gender, race, region, tribe, and look. One of the offshoots of democracy, we have seen this, is that it brings people of certain aspiration in certain groupings. And in most cases, these people share a certain characteristic. They may be of the same tribe. They may be from the same region. Okay? They gravitate towards such groupings and identity in their pursuit for power. What we have right now is a reflection, a learning point from what we have seen in the UPND in the last 4.5 years. The UPND had a female vice president. Okay, did we see the full inclusion of women in the leadership of the UPND government? How many women did President Hichilema appoint as permanent secretary? How many women did President Hichilema appoint as ministers? Okay, how many women under HH took prominent roles in government machinery and the system? So it becomes the first point of reflection. Second, it's the issue of the so-called regional and tribal balancing. It's not up to me to judge. Okay, the president was from the northern. Was from the southern. Province. The vice president was from the north. Okay. It's not up to me to say this is the role that people from the north or how much they played in the last 4 years of president. I think the record is there to show.
Correct.
Okay. So this thing of trying to package political optics to see that since the president is from Luapula, he cannot have the vice president from northern, or since the president is from Luapula, you cannot. I think at the end of the day, it's how much you are willing to bring the whole country together.
That is my strongest opinion. I agree with you.
That's how much you're willing to bring people. You don't bring people together by appointing one figurehead from
no.
It's how you practice. Okay.
You can have the vice president and president from Eastern Province, but are you willing to unite the country?
Exactly.
I agree with you.
So that is for me my submission. It's not so much about, and look, let's face it, it might not be possible. I don't think that the guys in the opposition have got a luxury of time to go and start looking for someone in order to market them as coming from a different region. I don't think they have that luxury. And also the security. Because you're going to get someone who you don't trust, you are remaining with 80 days before the election, and that person decides to resign 10 days before. You have a crisis. Right now, what you need, if you're going to form a formidable opposition, is sincerity and the capacity to identify it and choose men and women who can.
This is a very interesting topic, gentlemen, because for me, the issue of
hold on your thought, I'm coming back to you.
Running mate and president, it is all about voter pattern. It's voter pattern. President Hichilema attempted to be president 5 times. Of course, he had Kanishas, he had GBM, but I'm not sure if GBM was on the ballot.
GBM we never got.
No,
he made it in 2016. Remember, Cho?
Yeah,
2016.
Okay,
so after the constitution change.
Yes.
The idea was how can the president Hichilema penetrate either eastern or because he was only being voted southern part until the PF misbehaved and people just decided that we're going to vote for the UPND. Correct. And they penetrated. However, given the historic voter pattern of the southern, it is a political suicide for anyone contending to be president now to say, for regional balancing perspective and the voters, I'm going to get my running mate from
Southern Province.
Why do you think so? Will get your running mate from Southern Province, but you'll never get a dime in terms of a vote.
Wow.
They are very resolved in how they have been voting. And the records at TCZ, let's go to the website.
Yeah.
2015. No, 2011. 2016.
You can stretch it to 2006.
Yes.
2006, yes.
Yeah.
Under the Mazoka time.
Yes, the records are there. It's a very solid block in terms of how they vote.
Wow.
So IP, even if you become president today and you want to get your running mate from the south, it is good just to it's a feel good vibe, but don't expect to upset the voting pattern.
Right.
It is what it is. But I pray that with what we saw in 2021, our colleagues in the south should also begin to say, actually, it is possible for us to vote for someone else who doesn't come from here. Because look at the support that President Hichilema received from all the other regions. In fact, President Hichilema is a figure that has been accepted countrywide in terms of vote distribution of 2021. So, as a nation, we need to rise above these divisions and permutations. If we have 2 leaders from Southern Province, both vice president and president, and they are able to unite the nation, so be it. If you have leaders from Northwestern Province, president and vice president, they can unite the nation, so be it. It is a challenge to us as a new crop of leaders. I don't discount that Mike Stula will not be a leader one day. He will be.
Yeah, he will.
Chiwoyu, I don't think that he will not contest political power. He will. So, and to all of the viewers out there, we are one Zambia, one nation. This thing of voting based on where you come from should come to an end. Let's emulate what 2021 gave us. President Hichilema was voted for across the country and never based on where he comes from. That is the Zambia I'm looking for. That is the result of 2026 I am looking for. I'm looking for a vote that is well distributed regardless of where someone comes from.
You know, when Pike was speaking, Joe, I will share with you and Mike Sichula. When Pike was talking about High Pamudut and how he just gave up his presidential ambitions and rallied behind President Hichilema. And then he says it is possible. Pike says it is possible for any of these presidential candidates to say, I am not capable now I'll rally behind this one particular presidential candidate.
Yeah.
You know, something which triggered my mind is about regional politics as well. In my little sense, I'm saying, for me, I respect the people of Southern Province. When it comes to ambition management, they are good at realizing, I don't know if I should call it is loyalty, or I don't know if I don't know how I can call it, but they are quite able to manage their ambitions. Unlike the people like the Piris from Eastern Province. Even when I know that I'm not capable, I'll go and form a political party.
And pay 100,000 kwacha.
And pay 100,000
nomination
kwacha.
fee.
When you can't raise 100.
You understand? When you ask my, you know, I'll put you on the spot. The Bemba guys, they'll all go and form a political party. From one, you know, province. They all want to become presidents. What is the problem? When you look at the political parties existing today, count them. The majority of them are coming from either Eastern Province or Northern Province or the Bembaland, as it were.
It's very historic,
Why?
but this program cannot exhaust it.
Yeah.
You need a political scientist
Yes.
to explain. This is rooted in how we were configured by the colonial masters.
grouping.
Okay, I don't want to go into there, but we need to break out of that.
Yeah.
But it has to do with how we were configured by the colonial masters, and this program cannot adequately.
We don't have enough time.
We don't have time to go into that. But it is our ambition. What kind of a Zambia
Yes.
do we want?
Yes.
Not based on what the colonial template we were left with.
Yes.
No. We need to break
Why
away.
hasn't that affected the Southerners or the Northwesterners?
So you see,
Anyway, time is not. There's not enough time. as
This
said.
topic is
Problem.
very broad,
Yeah.
and again, not to take away anything from what my colleagues have said.
Yeah.
But there will always be political parties will always take something from what you have done and use it against you in the political field. We have all seen and heard how the UPND has been accused of leading a Zambezi, what do they call it? Zambezi block something, kind of administration in terms of whom they have appointed.
Right.
So all this comes from who you appoint to fit a certain position in a political party. But this is what we are saying, this is what PK is saying, we should move away from that as a nation.
Right.
If I am appointed, I should not be looked at, say, no, Mike is coming from the northern province. They should look at me to say, he is a Zambian, first of all. And
Not because you are my tribesmate.
No. I shouldn't. We should move away from that. But the
Right.
blame again will go to politicians themselves. Because imagine if a political party was going to appoint two people from the same region and they go to campaign. It is the same politicians who are going to say, look, they don't believe in regional balancing. But we need to move from this type of politics. I agree with my colleagues.
Okay, let's move on as we close the political alliance story and the endorsements. Of course, we'll look at what happened. Also, the Citizens First has not been left out from the endorsements. Remember that the CF has formed the CF Orange Alliance, which has attracted quite a number of people. And last week, again, we did see the former Minister of Sports, Moses Mawere, who is also running a political party, Exodus for Peace and Prosperity, joining that CF Orange Alliance, but also Greyford Monde as well, joining from the PF, joining the CF Orange Alliance, and have endorsed President Harry Kalaba. Let's have some highlights.
Harry Kalaba is a tested leader. Yes. For you to be a foreign affairs minister for all those years, it means that you understand, first of all, the governance of your country. Yes. You understand the governance of other countries. You are able to bring the strength from other countries and what you have as a country and come up with a position of governing that prospers that country. If you ask me as a cabinet minister, if you ask me the governance of other countries, I may have limitations. But Kalaba, he will explain. And he understands. Because he walked that road before.
atufaayo okubikaga dansi ataffe n'apa enkalache na mutima ozigwira abonwera nangala ozigwira natinkambegambe pamoja. So my name is David Malomo. I'm the president of the Passionate Allegiance to Serve and Save Past Political Party. Amen. Thank you. David Malomo, President of the Passionate Allegiance to Serve and Save Past Political Party. My fellow citizens, for far too long, the people of Zambia have enjoyed life. The promises of making every citizen his life.
The other descriptions I'm sure you've heard, I was one of the candidates running under the PF from 2022. Those that paid 200,000. For our people, we need to unite. If we don't unite, we've already said we must forget. So I look forward myself, as Greyford Monde, if you ask me, I look forward to alliances. These alliances that are there, to further unite and create a one alliance before the 13th of August. And that is doable. Let us not become our own eaters. Why are we eating ourselves? Without working together, we will forever be pointing a finger at HH. He's surviving. Is he not surviving? He wants to survive politically because he has failed to deliver his promises. Therefore, we must also survive to save our people. And that can only happen if we figure out. How many times must we be beaten and fall down and still continue to cry? Don't we have a solution? The solution is in our numbers. The solution is in the opposition working together and uniting. Outside that, we will continue saying, Imingalato, which HH is doing. You know you will not do anything different. So I call upon all of you to come together. You, my colleagues in the opposition, you in these various alliances, please let's continue to unite and work together. Only that way can we be able to win. Let me conclude by saying that if you follow what is happening in the UPND today, through their nomination, what do you call them, their primary elections, have you not noted that those who are ministers, those who are sitting MPs are all losing? What does that tell you? It tells you that if the MPs of UPND are failing in the primaries and the ministers of UPND are failing in the primaries, it means that their president has also failed. How can they fail if he's successful? If they have delivered, how come their people are being rejected? So it's an open goal. There is no goalkeeper muchipanda. Tamuri goalkeeper. 2026 ngatwalusaba opposition. If we lose as opposition 2026, the Zambian people will get leaders to account. We should never blame
let's get into it again. When you thought we were done, we are still discussing endorsements and alliances?
Well, my submission is very simple. Look, I don't think that they're even worth being called alliances. First of all, we're talking about the president, the political party of former Minister Mawere.
Yes.
I don't even know that he had a political party.
Oh, you didn't know?
No, I didn't know until we announced that.
It was formed recent, I think that was this year.
Yeah, so when...
last year rather, early last year.
So it still gets back to the issue we discussed, sincerity and genuine partnership. If you are not going to have an alliance with somebody, I mean with a lot of respect for to Honorable Mawere, but what is stopping him from just joining Calabar instead of announcing it as an alliance? Because what is he bringing to the table? Okay?
Yeah.
You know, these alliances are trying to create a lot of dead weight to some of these political parties. Okay? Because once you have a lot of people going into alliances, you see, you've got 90 days to go. 80 days to go. If you are going to have a scatter of these alliances in the opposition, right now the opposition should have been in that position where now it is refining itself. Okay? Because once you get somebody as an alliance partner, unfortunately they have to come with demands. They have to come with certain expectations.
Exactly.
Okay? So how many people is President Calabar going to satisfy in his process of trying to embrace these people? And then secondly, looking at what we are looking at as a country and the time we are remaining, is it not sensible that if Ari Calabar is, Honorable Ari Calabar is focused, should be working towards having alliances with either Mundubile or President, or Honorable Makebi Zulu? Because this is where the opposition fulcrum is.
You bring the giants together.
Yeah, so this is what, and if you talk to Zambian people, you go on social media, you go on the streets, you go on buses, people have an idea of the leadership they are looking at. So instead of shopping around for these alliances that don't add anything to your party except increasing the amount of dead weight, I think for me, if I were to sit with Honorable Calabar, yes, it sounds very good to say these political parties, orange, I don't know if they are red or maroon alliances, it sounds good. Okay,
others will tell you that politics is about numbers.
Yeah, but even 0 is a number. Okay, if you go on the number line, even 0 is a number. So you can still have 0 added to you, and it doesn't change anything.
Okay.
So in my view, I think the country is defined on what it wants to see come August 2013, and it's very important that those leaders who are sitting in key leadership positions, especially in the opposition, start reflecting and acting in reflective of what the Zambian desires. If you ask the ordinary people, I mean, I have a lot of respect for Honorable Mawere.
Yeah.
But right now, if you wanted to see a progressive opposition, would you want Hari Calabar to start having serious talks with Makebi Zulu, to having serious talks with Mundubile, or to be having talks with Mawere? I think these are the very difficult questions that our opposition should be asking themselves if they really want to have this progress. Yes, we need an alliance, we need a united force. Thought even former minister, the man from Mufrira, what's his name?
Mufrira.
Yeah, former minister, former minister.
Is it Mufrira or Kankole?
Kankole is in Mufrira.
Oh yeah. Brian Mushimba.
Brian Mushimba has also got a political party.
Oh yes,
and probably this week he'll also be looking for a partnership to form an alliance.
Correct.
So we are wasting a lot of valued time, if you ask me, by having this unfocused and targeted alliances.
And I'm told they come with huge demands. Huh?
Of course.
Got information from one of the UPND senior leader who was complaining and says, seemingly it's like some senior UPND members have been allegedly neglected, and the party is more embracing the UPND alliance members. So someone was saying, like, look, so does it mean that I should also move away from the UPND and form a political party, then come back in the form of an alliance for me to be respected? It points to what you are saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
IP, my view is this. I think this is not the first time I'm saying this. I'm an advocate.
Yeah.
That we need to amend our law as far as political
Formation.
Political party formation is concerned.
Yeah.
I would have loved it to be one of the 77 laws that were being amended. Because where is the priority? You can't have every other person just waking up at whims and say, I'm going to form a political party. You understand? Why? Because we have said we are a democracy. Even when you are a democracy, let's look at America. Predominantly, they may have the Green Party, but predominantly they've got the Democrats and the Republicans, the Blues and the Reds. Period. The rest of the smaller parties are used for fundraising and whatnot. Okay. Same if you look at.
I know a political party. Sorry, Pickett, not to cut you short. I know a political party in this country. I will not mention the names, which is being run by the wife and the husband.
That's what I'm saying. So we need to change our laws, and our priorities in this country are just wrong. Already we're talking about alliances and lack of leadership. You know why we can't even see leaders? It's because they are scattered all over. There are too many. How can you have 29 presidential candidates in a small country like Zambia, and every one of them is looking for over $15 million to run for president? Because to run for president, you don't need any less than $10 million. So we need to change that. Coming to the issue of alliances, well, given the fact that this is what we have given ourselves, I don't have problems with the alliances. However, this is the first time in the history of multipartism that politics is being looked at in the same way we look at the Zambia national football team when they go to AFCON. If Zimbabwe loses, if that one is given a red card, maybe then we can have a chance. For the first time in the democratic dispensations, multipartism in Zambia, we are playing football permutations. If South Africa booted out, then we face Senegal, and their key player is already.
When they draw,
then
we win this side.
We have reduced our politics to that level of desperation. We need to address this matter as a matter of agents. However, having said all of that, the reading of the political atmosphere, I know my colleague talked about Brian Mundubile, Makebi, and Harry should be talking together. In fact, those three being on one ticket is a winning formula. Harry Kalava, Makebi, and Brian Mundubile working together, the opposition will have a quick outright win. But let's also be realistic. Honorable Makebi Zulu has just entered politics now. Honorable Brian Mundubile was considered as part of the PF for much longer, which means he had no political party. Honorable Makebi Zulu had no political party. So if we're going to discuss alliances, wait a minute, let me finish.
Okay, I want to correct you when you say Makebi has entered politics now.
No, as a presidential candidate.
Okay, at that level.
That's what I'm saying.
Correct.
As only
I wanted you to be clear.
As a presidential candidate.
Okay.
So Harry Kalava has been a presidential candidate under DP 2021 and now later formed the Citizens First. He has built structures countrywide, so to speak, right?
Yes.
If you are going to have a conversation, and I know that I will tell you that I've been privy to some of these discussions. There was an organization called Council of Elders that involved the likes of retired Chief Justice Chiwe Sakunda, Ambassador Akashambatwa and Ambassador Mutale, and I am aware that they were meeting these presidential candidates and asking them to work together. I am privy. I am told, reliably informed. The question has always been who should lead, and it takes us back to what we were discussing. Why can't we emulate Hamdudu and say, I laid down my ambition and I'll support this one. Why can't we emulate? Who else can we emulate who has laid down the ambitions? I can't think.
Mawere himself.
Yeah, Mawere
Yes.
has said, I will lay down my ambition and I will support. By the way, Mawere paid his 100,000. But he weighed his chances
of winning.
and said, let me.
As well as Sean Tembo.
As well as Sean Tembo, yes. You know, he actually had to get someone else to say, come and be the president, I'll be your running mate. That is the level of magnanimity that we need. My last reading into this, I'm not just an analyst here, but I think I like to read politics as well. My last submission is that I think the positioning of Citizens First in this atmosphere is very strategic.
Right.
It's very strategic for the sake of what we call imingalato, which is a new, you know,
It's a new phenomenon.
it's a new phenomenon. It's a new development.
Yeah.
Hari Kalaba, many people may not be paying a lot of attention to him, and that is where the strategic power lies, because he's not a target of Mingalato. He has tried to play his politics not to the populist kind of approach. So he doesn't attract unnecessary insult, unnecessary attack, unnecessary pressure. He keeps a clean and solid image in a toxic political environment. And why do I say this? Where has been the focus to dismate PF? What has happened to dismating PF? We have how many political presidential candidates? You have an alliance led by Mao Sampa. You have a political party led by Mundubile. You have a political party led by Makebi Zulu. You have a political party, paper claimed by Chavinga. So you have about 3 or 5 from within PF. Now, if peradventure what is called Mingalato is real, where are they going to fire their arsenal? It is to try and scatter where there seems to be real momentum, and this real momentum is in the PF, space, so to speak. If it happens to that, and as we already said, the opposition is not Brand, the opposition is not Makebi, the opposition is not Chavinga, the opposition is not Mao Sampa, the opposition is not Luvinda. The opposition are
the people.
If whoever is planning these things, we have now achieved our aim, we have scattered the opposition, you still have Hari Kalaba and CF there standing. Since we're discussing the Orange Alliance, it may look very insignificant, but I personally think they possess a strong arsenal to absorb everyone and be the last upset of the 2026 election. If they decide, like I said, this is being played like soccer. If this one is knocked out, and you can't fault us to analyze the political situation like that, because that's where the nation has found itself. So if the Orange Alliance is the one that has not attracted any of these multiplicity of ambition, when the last whistle is blown and there is nowhere else to run to, I think there could just be a very unanticipated migration of people, not leaders, of people.
So what happened? Let me put you on the spot. What happened if, for example, Brian Mundubile, Makebi Zulu, and the others, they are on the ballot?
Yes. What
Can
will
Hari
happen?
Kalaba and the CF really perform?
What will happen? Yes,
as expected.
As I said,
can they win the presidency? Maybe in short.
As I said to you, I know that the PF camp has been kept busy in courts.
Yeah.
They have not had an opportunity to mobilize at grassroots level, even though the structures are still intact. Hari Kalaba, and you've heard the complaints from his fellow opposition, that is the only one who has been allowed to have
rallies.
A few rallies.
Yes.
It's for the same simple reason I'm telling you, that he has never played populist politics that attract. So even the powers that be don't regard him as a threat. As a threat. So they give him a permit to go and host a rally. But that is to his credit, and the style of politics is playing. It means even if Brian Mundubile and Makebi are on the ballot and Hichilema is on the ballot, what that will mean is there will be no 50+1 outright winner.
Right.
And the reason why I said earlier that these will be forced to work together is when we go into 13th August and all these key players are on the ballot, we will not have a 50+1, there will be a rerun. Hichilema, Makebi and Mundubile, whoever will produce the most numbers will be the natural lead. The rest have to
So let's put
rally
the three on the spot. Since we're analyzing this issue, let's have Makebi Zulu, Brian Mundubile, and Hichilema on the ballot.
Yes.
And then the country fails to
reach
50+1.
Yes.
Whom do you think can get higher numbers between the three? Brian Mundubile, Hichilema, and Makebi.
It would depend.
Who can get the higher numbers between these?
Right now, we cannot decide. It's in
No,
let me tell you this.
The atmosphere can stew you.
Let me tell you this. In the next 90 days,
Right.
there will be a lot of political activity. There will be political party leaders who have no money to campaign. There will be political leaders who have no tactics to campaign. What they will do in the next 90 days will choose who will be the front runner.
Right.
And whoever from, let's say, Mundubile, Makebi, and Hichilema, whoever will come out with the more numbers will be the natural leader when we go into a potential rerun. Then
So
the
now
other two,
we can't tell.
Now we can't
Because
tell.
analysts, they will tell you internationally, they will say, who is now popular in Zambia when it comes to the opposition? Whom can we say is popular?
That's why we're talking about
So
those.
now we can't tell.
No, I think you're already talking about the three. You
Among
can
the
tell.
three,
You can
I'm
tell that
talking about among the three.
Well, I think IP, for me, what is very crucial
Yes.
is first of all, before we even extend our thoughts to what is the possible, or what will be the possible outcome of the election. Among the three, who will be allowed to stand? For me, that is
That's
the
the
key
first
question
question.
right now. Who,
Right.
Among the three, who will be allowed to stand? Because we are dealing with an electoral commission of Zambia with very murky laws and regulations, which we are not clear. So I think what is important is, first of all, we have identified, okay, and picking from what Piki has said, we have identified the three leading opposition leaders
Right.
at the moment. So what is crucial right now is to see who actually make final
List on the ballot.
ballot.
Right.
And then afterwards we can
begin
pick
to
it
knock
up.
them
Yes.
out.
And we will know next week.
And yes.
Next week we'll know.
Right. Comrades, your quick summary.
I
We
would
need to
want.
move on.
I think they have ably tackled this issue.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
we can proceed.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Let's move on to another story now. I think let's bring in the story of Kasonde Mwenda. I know that Kasonde Mwenda was also arrested. It's among the people who have paid the 100,000 kwacha to contest or participate in this year's election. But however, he was detained by the Zambia police. Is he out, by the way?
No.
I'm not aware.
No.
Yeah.
There's
I wanted
not
just
been
to
an
get
announcement
clarity.
from the police.
Correct. Yeah, so Kasonde Mwenda has been behind bars in the last 1 week plus after he accused the police, or rather the state, that the presidential motorcade got lost along the way in Chinsali district of Muchinga province. Mike Sichula, you're on your way maybe to Eastern province, then I say, I saw you. You come and detain me for 1 week.
Yeah.
On a matter which is bondable, bailable. What's going on? And the HH will tell you, do not arrest someone before you investigate. A matter which is bondable, bailable, can you release them?
I think these are cases that the Zambia police should not be entertaining, because when they entertain such cases, they are putting a dent on Zambia to the outside world, because people are asking to say, actually, let me say, the period we're in is an electoral period where Mr. Kasonde Mwenda, because he was detained for saying the presidential motorcade got lost, he missed an opportunity to present his supporters, because he's the main man there. So members of these political parties could not manage to mobilize. So the police should not be doing such things during this period. Imagine someone for just saying the presidential motorcade got lost. And we have the president is governing. The president is back. Nobody said no, lost but found. We have him. So it is something that the police should have said. I think Mr. Kasonde Mwenda was probably politicking. A mere caution could have been better, but keeping him in cells for more than 7 days is actually putting a dent on Zambia to the outside world. These are stories that the outside world pick up and say in Zambia a politician was detained for 7 days for saying that the presidential motorcade got lost. So we don't need to have such issues, because these issues at some point they are going to come back to Zambia, because people are going to say, I think the political environment in Zambia is not conducive, because you can be arrested for saying that the presidential motorcade got lost. So I think the police there misconducted themselves. Even if there's a specific case they want to slap on Mr. Mwenda, this is something that the police could have just said, let it pass. Yeah.
All right, PK, what do you make of Kasonde Mwenda's arrest by the Zambia police, and also him being transferred from Lusaka back to Chinsali?
My view is that there is a law. There is a law based on which they arrested him.
Correct.
So if I'm going to condemn anything, I may not condemn the action of the police.
Right.
I will condemn the law based on which they
arrested.
premised the arrest. And it is the cyber security law, transmitting, recording of what they called false information. That law is dangerous to democracy. Because in my view, what Kasonde Mwenda did, that is comedy. You cannot criminalize comedy. Then let's stop going to Lusaka Playhouse. Because what Kasonde Mwenda did there was just, as Ambassador Mkwita said, it's comic relief.
Yeah.
He was just trying to make people laugh. Surely you cannot criminalize comedy. But it is not the police to blame. It is the law that empowered them to take that action. And that's why people have to go back to what the UPND promised. They promised they were going to remove the cybersecurity law from our statutes. It was amended, and it became even more stifled. It became even more punitive. We are here discussing a presidential candidate who has missed nominations because of a bad law that criminalizes comedy. My view would be, wow, this is comedy by Kasonde Mwenda. Let's release him if we have to, but as long as that law is there, we will have similar cases. What we need for the president who is coming into power, whoever it is, must reconsider whether we need to continue having that law in our statutes. Otherwise, let's all stop speaking. Because you'll be arrested for cracking a joke.
True.
Honestly speaking.
Yeah, and also, as a society, we must be conscious of how we treat the weakest members. Okay? When you look at the political scenario right now, Kasonde Mwenda would be considered one of the weakest opposition political parties. So, are we going to be cowed into silence because Kasonde Mwenda is not as important as other opposition political parties? Okay? Over a very flimsy law. Okay? So, if we are going to keep quiet and watch what is happening to Kasonde Mwenda being incarcerated, detained in prison, for a case that is bondable, that is bailable, which I can even assure you here that the police will not be able to prosecute that case. Because
it's a weaker case.
There's no serious case.
I agree with you.
Okay? And then you get a guy who is transported to Chinsali.
What was the logic of transporting?
Exactly.
Because that's where the crime happened.
No, it happened. It happened on his phone.
I know, but where was the presidential motorcade?
It was in Chinsali. But yes. Kasonde was here.
So they went there to do what? Kasonde was here.
So why have they taken him to Chinsali?
So he can show them where they got lost.
But did he go to Chinsali? Why not use his phone? And if I'm not mistaken, the footage Kasonde Mwenda was commenting on was on Facebook. I think. Was it on the presidential.
Yes,
So
yes.
he basically lifted something that was in public domain
Yeah.
and made comedy out of it, and then they get arrested. So for me, I think I call upon the Law Association of Zambia. I call upon all progressive citizens, the human rights. I don't know where the Human Rights Commission is, because you've got, I mean, you've got a guy who is part of the electoral process. He's among the candidates.
He's among the players.
Who is going to be technically knocked out because he has been detained over an offense that is bailable, that is bondable. So you've literally taken away the rights of a citizen by using a very bad law. Okay, you are taking away his rights when there are options of avoiding such an act of taking away his rights. Arrest him, place him on police bond, allow the guy to go and participate in the electoral process. So now, if we say that the government is using the laws to silence or to disadvantage opponents, because whether you like it or not, Kasonde Mwenda is an opponent.
Yeah.
Okay, and also the other danger is that what happened to Kasonde Mwenda, what will stop that from happening to Harikala? What will stop the government from arresting another Mundubile and press him in a position where they will not give him bond or bail? And as a result of that decision, he will be disadvantaged and removed from the electoral race. Yeah. What is going to prevent Makebi from being subjected to the same bad law and the same treatment and be disadvantaged? So when you look at what is happening to Kasonde Mwenda right now, it's a threat to democracy. It looks insignificant. It looks inconsequential because it's Kasonde Mwenda. But when you look at the broader picture, everyone is a potential victim of the position that Kasonde Mwenda finds himself in.
Because of a bad law.
You can be smoked out of the ballot and be locked up.
Yes, and like the Uganda, I think there's a famous saying in Uganda that when you see your friend's beard on fire, put water on yours. Don't go and put. Yeah,
that's an African proverb.
So I would urge the opposition political parties, those that think Kasonde Mwenda, it's okay, it's just Kasonde.
And they are very quiet.
They are very quiet.
While we talk about unit of the opposition, Kasonde Mwenda has been behind bars for 1 week plus.
And I haven't
and they're all quiet.
any opposition figure speak for
no
Kasonde
press
Mwenda.
briefing, no press statement,
no
nothing.
demand.
No.
Wow. Because look, the
quite
opposition
unique.
even have an option. I'm not a lawyer, but there is that. PK, you can guide me. There is that. Is it habeas corpus?
Habeas corpus.
Yes.
They could
apply for him.
They could have applied that for him to have the guy out.
Who has visited him there?
Who has visited him? And most important, when you remove politics, Kasonde Mwenda is a human being.
Correct. He's a Zambian.
He's a Zambian. So we should be worried about what is happening to him. We should not keep quiet because he's insignificant or it's politics. What is happening to him, it's a human right abuse, and it should not be allowed to happen.
Interesting. Let's look at some of the activity, the highlights that characterized during the nomination, the pre-processing of nominations, presidential nominations, of course, last week. We did see some presidential candidates, of course, failing to, mobilize some members, some supporters to go and authenticate their presidential candidature in that regards. We've seen also Kitonga, one of the quite talkative man, appealing to the Zambian people to donate some cash because according to him, he feels that he's now financially constrained to proceed with the nomination, so he's looking for the monies. But also, Mundubile will come back because he has now jumped out of the FDD, going to the National Restoration Party for Unity and prosperity. Yes, prosperity. All that drama. We'll share a minute, each one of us. Comrade Max Chula, what do you pick from there?
I think in future, maybe
just a minute as we go.
This requirement by the Electoral Commission of Zambia for you to provide 100 supporters.
Yeah.
It may be it's fulfilling the objective to know if someone is popular across the country, but the pattern at which some of the political parties are doing it, it's not. It doesn't carry that weight, because here you are. I saw some people, they are being asked to say, do you know the president of the political party you represent? People didn't know about who the president is. So what people also did was that it was more
using drunkard people who can be deemed to be drunkards.
So it was also one
and
way.
When you send a drunkard to endorse you, to vote for you, what happens?
So I think maybe in future we may, if the country can have a consensus on this matter, to say those 100 people that come to back you before, let's say we consider those to be actual votes.
Members.
And they because they are members, so we consider those to be actual votes, like pre-voting, pre-voting, whereby after that presentation is done, you are guaranteed of 1,000 people backing you, because it is serving the purpose. Yes, people are saying no, people know me across the country, but the people that are backing you, some of them do not know. Then coming to the issue where the Electoral Commission of Zambia is saying if you change or you merge, then you may need to bring new political, you may need to resubmit the 1,000 members. I think that is a bit unfair. It is costly to political parties because it's a merger. So meaning, if I went there as Mike Sichula, then I decide to merge with you IP, meaning those members are guaranteed, they are our members. So I don't think there should be need for political parties to be told to resubmit those 1,000 members. I think the ECZ needs to look at this issue to say, I think, okay, you submitted already, unless I'm merging with someone who did not submit. But if I submitted and you also submitted, I don't think there's need to say, can you resubmit new members? It is a cost to political parties, and it is also a waste of time.
Right. Pike, your quick bite over this?
My quick bite on this is I am totally against having so many political parties and so many political players. And Mike Chula, sorry to disappoint you, we need to up the 100 members actually.
Thank you, PK, for speaking
we
on
need
my
to
behalf.
increase,
I was about to also say the same.
We need to increase the members
to 2,000 actually.
To maybe to 1,000 per province.
Correct.
Okay, so that it should be 10,000.
Yes.
Because if you can't even get 10,000 votes, then what are you doing in the race?
Yeah.
Then
that's where Article 60 of the Zambian Constitution comes in.
Yes.
Your political party should be of national
character.
Yes.
Okay. And then secondly, the issue of how much people are failing to raise. Those who have failed to meet the pre-processing, it's not just about meeting 100 people. Others also couldn't raise the 100,000.
Yes.
For us to know who is serious, maybe we need to raise also this one to maybe 300,000 or 500,000. Because honestly speaking, let there be quality in who we want to lead us. If you cannot raise even 100,000 for your own nomination, and you're asking people to donate, how are you going to campaign? How will you go to Kaputa, to Chiengi, and all of these places, to Kwamugubudu and all? It shows lack of seriousness. So we need, as a nation, honestly speaking, whoever is going to be president, these are some of the things we need to clean up. Let's clean up, you know. Right. It's such a mess and very, very unnecessary. And on the issue of Honorable Blanu being told that he may have to resubmit, it's unfair, as Mike said. And also, the ECZ should not be relying on subsidiary legislation. Article 100 tells us who qualifies and how they qualify. And if this person previously processed, and the party structure that supported him is part of the alliance, you cannot ask him to do the same thing when you know the window for that. You know that those are the technicalities.
The window is closing.
The window has closed for that. What you need now is him to be submitting his presidential nomination paper. So you're asking him to do two things at the same time. Are those not technicalities? So what my colleague here said, to say by next week we will know who will be on the ballot. These are some of the issues that are giving people sleepless nights. Honestly speaking, this is a straightforward issue. If FDD had the Mingalato signs in it, the gentleman has come out and he says, let me show you that I'm a genius. I produce another party. Why are you introducing other requirements?
Interesting.
Yeah, so
Comrade.
when you look at the nature of rules, okay, for any competition that is credible or that is worth its salt, it needs to have rules that are very easy to understand and clear.
Correct.
What you see in the 2026 election is the emergence of laws that can only be interpreted by the Electoral Commission of Zambia, and
Which is very unfortunate.
Which is very unfortunate. Okay, so I watched a clip from Parliament, I think about 2 weeks ago, where the Minister of Agriculture was trying to defend a position of the electoral law, and he defended it so aggressively that at some point I thought he was a representative of the electoral.
You thought he was the Minister of Justice?
Not even the he was not the Minister of Justice official, and he was so passionate about what they wanted to cure because of the laws that were being changed. So now you realize that there is a problem here. Okay, you realize, so you've got laws that are kind of crafted in favor of the ruling party and given to the Electoral Commission of Zambia to interpret. So for me, that worries me. It brings back to the issue we're discussing of asking political parties who change to bring new members, increase number of members and everything. So I think the credibility of this election is in serious doubt, in my view, based on the laws that we are having. So this new political party, that platform or new political vehicle that Honorable Mundubile wants to use, okay, I will not be surprised if on Tuesday somebody will emerge from that political party as a vested interest as an individual, and will go to court and he will be entertained and probably get some sort of a funny or bizarre decision that will again might hurt. I'm not saying this will happen. These are my personal fears. So for a country that has held not less than 7-8 general elections in the last 30 years or so, I don't think we should be having serious debate about the electoral rules. Those should have been defined.
Interesting. Gentlemen, we have to go. But what's going on in the nomination process in the country? We've seen a lot of delays coming from the ruling party itself. Seem to be dragging in announcing the aspiring candidates. Also, the opposition, they seem to be a bit seemingly stuck. What's causing the delay? Quickly, Mike, maybe.
Okay, I think the delay has been caused by the selection process. For instance, under the UPND, I saw a post that they had more than 1,700 against 226 seats. So you can see there. So the problem is that the UPND, they want to find the best candidates, but they're having a challenge because when you look at the primaries that they had in most of the constituencies, most of their big guns were falling short, others coming number 3, others. So now you want to have a balance. And remember, they also got PF members to sit whom they thought they could adopt. So now when this delay has been caused by the headache to pick the person who is going to resonate well with the ground and also meet their political ambitions and also satisfy the people that they said, can you support us in parliament, we're going to adopt you. Then on the opposition political parties, the delay has also been caused because they also want to get some people who may
from
not
the
be,
UPND maybe.
yes, who may not be adopted under the UPND, but they are popular and put them on their bandwagon. So this is what is causing.
What of their own members? They don't have their own members?
But their certificates have been confiscated.
so that is a dilemma, especially on the UPND. And also the same, because it is also going to affect other opposition political parties, because the time frame, when you look at the roadmap of the ECZ, it may not allow. Today you are told you have not been adopted, then you come to political for PK to say, can you? Now that process for you to get the certification from the UPND is not there. And I also see a situation where some of those that may be denied adoption, I see some of them taking the UPND to court over this.
Oh, wow. PK.
My take on this, first of all, as Chiwoyu said, electoral rules must be predictable. How many years since we became a multi-party state?
From
We're talking about 61 now.
No, 91.
40, over 40.
Close to 40.
Yes.
Our electoral rules must be predictable. When the Electoral Commission of Zambia published that roadmap, I never expected that they will come back and say, we are changing this date now to accommodate the lack of preparedness of candidates. Already.
And PK there, sorry to cut you, the delay was caused by the governing party. I don't think if PF or RP went to the ECZ to say, no, give us more time, the ECZ was going to entertain that.
So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. When people say we need...
Let's take out the cut here.
We need... wait a minute. When people say we need the ECZ to be autonomous, independent, this is what they mean.
Yes.
Right.
But when I know that there's some affinity here, go and run, I'll come and whisper, you know what, we are having some adoption problems, but this timetable you've given us, it will affect us.
It will affect us.
I will come and say, I am extending to accommodate, because honestly speaking,
we are being flexible.
The ECZ has no business to accommodate the unpreparedness of political players, because why? The ECZ did its job.
It's time bound.
And produced a timetable. It is up to political parties to fit within that timetable. Now, when the ECZ itself begins to be flexible to this level, to change, because now it's no longer 90 days campaign, because they've said the campaigns will start on 23rd. If you calculate 23rd to the 13th, that is less than 90 days of campaigning. So already there is a problem there. Here is my suggestion to the opposition. You may not have agreed on who should be a presidential candidate. You need to agree. Where is Socialist Party strong? Where can they field their members of parliament? Where is the PF strong? Where can it field members of parliament, councillors, and where is CF strong? Where is NDC strong? At least agree on the number of members of parliament, council chairperson, and work together. But do what you want with a presidential election. Otherwise, what I see, there will be constituencies from the 226, there will be constituencies where the UPND will emerge unopposed, because there will be no any other MP apart from
the UPND.
And you know what it is? The ECZ will just say, in this constituency, such and such has gone unopposed. And the numbers will be in favor of the ruling party. So opposition work together at parliamentary level, at council level, and councillor ward level. Work together. You will not manage to field 226 as a single party. You will not. It is not possible. Leave that to the ruling party. But even them, they know it is difficult. That's why they've brought some MPs from the PF. They will stand in some of those places because it is a tall order to field 226 electable seats. We give you as Mwembeshi for free.
Okay, so my quick thoughts on this topic is obviously what we are seeing right now is the result of sustained destabilization of the opposition. Because PK has made some very interesting observation. Okay, the fact of the matter is that the opposition in its current form
is disorganized.
And for them, yes, they can manage to fill all the candidates in all the constituencies, but chances that those will be put there just for the sake of fulfilling the fixture.
Correct.
But
which is not good sometimes.
Yeah, but in terms of achieving what you desire by having MPs in there, realizing MPs from those candidates, it might not be possible. Okay, so I would not belabor on the point of why the opposition need to be strategic in the way they approach this election.
Right.
But again, you look at and by the way, I just a quick one. You know, when I saw the president swearing in members of the Electoral Commission, you know, it left me thinking, why should the president swear in the members of the Electoral Commission? because it's supposed to be the Independent Electoral Commission of Zambia. And the president is a candidate in this election. Okay, so why should we have a law where the referee...
But that's how it has been.
Yeah, but why haven't we... I'm just trying to invoke some thought around it. Why have we allowed that to happen?
Priorities. That's why I'm saying the 77 laws, that was not one of them.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So I think we need to have a serious reflection around that. Then second, on the UPND, you see, the UPND had focused so much on destabilizing the opposition at the expense of entrenching internal democracy. Right now, this adoption process has put UPND in a serious civil war.
Quagmire.
There's a war internally there.
Wow.
Okay? And trust me, this adoption process, if we had a serious and strong opposition, this adoption process was going to send the UPND to its grave.
I hear you.
It was going, this civil war you see in the UPND was going to send it to it. I don't know how they are going to...
Of course, it's loosely. You're using civil wars loosely.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. We are on TV.
We are on TV, so be very careful
so
what you say.
No, let me actually remove civil war. Let me replace it with the...
internal power struggle.
Internal power struggle. Yeah, I think I'll use... So the UPND faces an internal power struggle that is as a result of not having internalized democracy. Look at the machinations, the attempts they have made. They came on, they used social media to search for candidates. Okay, I don't know what the logic was behind that, because with that approach, it means that even somebody who is outside this jurisdiction will be able to vote instead. So you look at a party that is internally weakened as a result of this adoption process, and if the opposition is very serious, they should look at this opportunity.
But you know what, Chiwoyi, what you have said, the UPND saw that they will be in trouble.
Yes.
And therefore, that's why there has been this thing, when you want to contest, you take your adoption, your papers.
Your credentials.
Your papers. They get, because you know that if we don't adopt this one is strong, he will go to PF, he will go to CF, he will go to Sonse. So they... And unfortunately, this is disenfranchising. I don't think the Human Rights Commission you talked about. I mean, if I want to contest and my party takes away my grade 12 and my NRC, those are my personal properties.
Correct.
Have my rights been violated or not? In the name of politics, people should be quiet? I don't know.
And how can educated men and women within the UPND, in the name of aspirants, accept such a situation? How?
But what can they do? What can they do?
They want adoptions. They are desperate for adoptions, because today we have got people who were campaigning.
So you'd rather bury your education, your and everything, and say, okay, get my credentials, because I want to be adopted.
Yes.
It's okay.
They want to be adopted. That's all.
Wow.
That's why if you have a few people with a spine like a Mwenda Smarter says, I'm a councillor, former, but I'm no longer. In fact, he has resigned from the party.
Yes.
Not just saying he will not recontest. He has left
the party.
It speaks a lot of volumes.
And actually, there's also someone should be in Rwampa. She's popular. She's contesting for the council chairperson. One of the districts in Western Province. She's popular, and the party approached her. But when she heard that she needed to submit her credentials, she refused. Said it's better I go independent. The same issue is happening in Zambezi Central, the new delimited constituency. There's a popular candidate there. The UPND wanted to bring that candidate, but the grassroots said, no, don't give them your credentials. If it means you going independent, we are going to vote for you as an independent. And this person has withheld his credentials because he's a popular candidate, and the UPND knew that he's popular. But the idea of saying, bring your credentials, it is the community who told him no. Because from the look of things, they are not comfortable with the candidate the UPND wants to adopt. Aside him, they look at him to be a very popular candidate. But just the issue of saying,
surrender
all your credentials. And it is very sad that we have learned people like Dixon Jere. He submitted his because he's contesting under Lusaka. I hope maybe he didn't submit him, maybe. But if he did, then it's a very sad state of affairs. If you can have learned people like him being so low to say, okay, you can have my credentials, so that you cut my political ambitions.
But also we have to take this matter serious.
Of course.
This is a serious
It's
matter.
a scandal.
Yeah,
It's
because
a serious
if
matter.
the UPND can take such an approach to their internal process,
Their own.
What
more?
And this is the ruling party. Okay?
This
is the ruling party. It's not just any other political party.
Yes.
The UPND is the ruling party. So if they can,
Their own children.
If they take this approach, you shudder to imagine what they will do to the country.
But that's why you have a senior member of their party saying, civil servants, if you were appointed by President Hichilema, you go and campaign.
Maybe what is your take over that? We have to go.
But it's against the civil service rules and regulations. So now that is challenging Mr. Kangwa, the head of the civil service.
Has he said anything?
Because here is the issue. What the law says, if you are a civil servant, you want to contest 3 months or so before nominations, you have to resign. But then you have a senior member telling civil servants, PSs and all, to say join the campaign so that we can continue being in power, so that you can continue holding those positions. Where are we going as a nation if we can abrogate our own rules that we set for ourselves? It's not right that politics should be at the center of everything we do. Where is our ubuntu, our normalcy, our patriotism and everything? It is not right, and I totally condemn that.
Who was your best or worst minister in the cabinet of HH in the last 5 years? PK, if I can put you on the spot.
Who was what?
Your best or worst performing minister in the last cabinet?
I will remain silent.
Okay. Comrade?
Well, it's a very good question. I wouldn't really try to categorize who was the best and who was the worst. I would look at it a bit slightly different. Okay, this was the most stable cabinet in terms of appointments, and I think in the last 4 or 5 years of the UPND, we have seen most number of ministers that have served in the ministries consistent without being changed. Okay. It was the most stable. Did they deliver? I don't know.
Right.
Why were not they why were they not substituted? I don't know. Okay. So are the Zambians happy with the ministers that remained in one ministry for 5 years and how they performed? It's not up to me to interpret. Yeah.
Right.
At the end of the day, what I'll look at is the performance of the president as reflected by the cabinet that has just been dissolved.
Interesting. The same question.
Well, I think
best or worst performing minister?
One of the people that impressed me in terms of delivery is Mrs. Doreen Mwamba, Community Development Minister. Right. Though she, at some point, there was that viral video of her communicating with, that was called to be AI. But in terms of delivery at the Ministry of Community Development, she did very well, because there were numbers in terms of, for instance, numbers for social cash transfer, they went up, and there was no scandal like we had in the past administration. She did well. Then I also looked at the Minister of Sport. He introduced something at the Ministry of Sports, where even a sweeper had an opportunity to travel out of the country to go and watch one of these big sporting events. Because he said, this is not something that we should just give it to directors, those top people, but we have a privilege as a Minister of Sport. Let's rotate if there's a trip, so that people can benefit. Imagine someone has never gone out of the country, they have never been on a plane, you are just a cleaner, then you are given such an opportunity to go out. Then my West Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Mutoropiri, because as we speak today, there are some agro dealers that supplied maize, fertilizer and agrochemicals to under this farmer support program. They have not gotten paid to date. So you can imagine we are almost into the half year. We'll be going into the busy agriculture activity. Then it was also the same time we saw hundreds of farmers sleeping in my shop waiting for their money, having supplied maize, having cultivated. You said you cultivated in 2024?
Yes.
You supplied in 2025, you got paid in 2026.
Thank you so much, Comrade Mike Sichula. We appreciate you for coming through. Thank you.
Thank you, IP, and good evening to our dear viewers.
PK, thank you so much. Comrades, thank you so much as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, IP, and all the best to the presidential candidates, all the best to the parliamentary candidates, all the best to the council chairpersons and ward people contesting, and all the best to everyone contesting this election. May the best win.
Thank you so much. All right, allow me to appreciate my director behind the scenes in Mengo there, Ezekiel. We appreciate you for that fantastic work and the pictures you are giving us this evening. Thank you so much. We'll be back again next week with another episode. Thank you so much. May God bless Zambia. May God bless Mother Africa. Good night.